guys, and welcome back to another episode of Curt and Paul Discuss. And on today's episode, we're going to be discussing a new movie, The Meg.
The Meg.
And if you're curious about what the Meg means, is the Meg is referring to a megalodon shark. I'm Curt, and this over here is
I'm Paul. Of course, playing with the television over here. So what did you think?
It was what I expected it to be. I mean, I thought parts of it were very impressive. They probably one of the best jump scares since Jaws that I've seen in a long time.
Which one?
There is nothing but the first Jaws,
Okay.
in my opinion. But I mean, they did a very good job of making this shark very menacing.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that it was 90 meters long and had 20-foot jaws.
Yeah.
But the cinematography on this movie was really well done. I mean, they did some really cool shots, and I'm a huge Jason Statham fan. I believe I've watched everything he's made from Transporter on, and the thing about Jason Statham, in my opinion, is he has one character that he plays in all his movies. It's the same character. A badass martial
There's like 3 rules for a Jason Statham movie.
What's that?
He's got to take his shirt off.
Of course.
At some point, he will take his shirt off. If he doesn't take his shirt off, this is not a good Jason Statham movie.
It's written in the script.
Right. He got to have that 5 o'clock shadow.
You're right.
It's not really a 5 o'clock shadow. It's more like 2 days past.
You got to have some scrub.
Yeah, and it never changes.
That's why I cut mine down today. Was in commemoration of Jason Statham's. Yeah, right. If I look like him at his age, I'd probably be making movies, I guess.
and the third one is he's got a round kick. Is that the right term?
Yeah. Roundhouse kick something.
Yeah. Mainly the villain at some point during the movie. So he's at a disadvantage coming into this movie. You can't round kick a shark. But he had the other 2, rules. He didn't break those rules because I think within like 30 minutes, because remember he's got to be in a one of those swimsuits because it's really cold out there in the ocean.
Are you talking about a scuba suit?
Yeah. But they still managed to have a scene where he takes his shirt off. I think it was like 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, they wrote that whole shower scene. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. We're gonna spoil some things.
They wrote that whole shower scene into that just so that there would be a time for him to practically be naked.
Well, the female protagonist in the movie just happens to visit because he has to save her, of course.
What is her name? Lin Bingbing?
I've never seen her in anything.
I think she's big in China.
Yeah, she's big in China because apparently this was like a collaboration with Warner Bros. And some Chinese company.
Yeah, we'll talk some more about that.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that some more later. So getting to the story of this one, it's another movie that just follows a pattern of movies like it. What was really cool was they had that underground oceanographic laboratory, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
And
it looked like an oil rig.
Well, it looked like an oil platform, but then you went downstairs and they made a whole show of how it looked like an oil rig on the top, but when you went down on the crappy elevator, the billionaire philanthropist that
was he a philanthropist? Oh my God!
Well, yeah, because he was pretending to be a philanthropist. That word, philanthropist.
Can't say that word, philanthropist.
He was pretending to be one anyway because remember he was talking about we got to save the animals.
Well, he kept talking about how they were going to make so much money because the basic premise is they discover a new ocean depth. I don't think they
a whole new ecosystem.
A new ecosystem right above some
is below a level of
well, okay, let's get into this. They were not in the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest part of the ocean,
right?
And it's 11,000 meters deep, right?
Right.
But they found some other place in the ocean that's deeper than that. And they call it the thermal climb. Once you go below that,
it's like a layer of
there's like magma,
methane gas. It was a lower.
Well, they said something about it
freezing.
Well, no, was it freezing?
Yeah, it was at like 20 degrees Celsius.
Because I thought the whole premise was it was warmer down there because they were near heater ducts in the crust.
Now this layer that was separating the rest of the ocean from this spot had, and I don't remember if it was carbon or methane gas, or it was made out of something that made it look like it was the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And what had separated all the ecosystem from down there from the rest of the ocean was the fact that it was really super cold, right? And so you learn later, and again, spoilers, you learn later that that's what kept the megalodon from coming into the ocean, was that layer. But what happened was when they broke that layer, right? And
but that layer below is warmer, right?
It's warm water down there as well.
Yeah.
But and I would imagine it would be warmer water because it's closer to the core of the earth.
See, that's the biggest problem. They had two problems. First problem is sharks don't like cold water. That's why you find sharks in like Caribbean areas, and they stay in like shallow
equatorial waters. Yeah.
So that's their first problem. How does this shark, which was a prehistoric shark called the megalodon, how did it stay off the radar for so many millions of years? So the second problem was, the first problem was that sharks like warm water. The second problem they had was, how do you explain how this shark kept out of sight? And the answer was, well, they've discovered this whole new region that's warm beneath all the cold water, and it was able to survive in this little layer of ocean. But at the same time, it couldn't really venture outside of it because it would have frozen.
Right.
Which is kind of absurd, but
if you look hard enough, you can find a hole in just about every story told. Right. Even the greatest movies have holes in their stories.
At least they explained it.
Because if you think about that, and look at that, that's pretty cool. But if you think about that, if it was just this limited space that had never been, explored before by man,
right?
It's limited space. You have the vastness of the ocean that can barely sustain the life that it sustains. And now you've got this freaking more than one of these megalodons swimming around in this area at the size they are. They have to eat to get that size, right?
Right.
So they would have eaten everything in there already. I would have thought, that was one of the holes I saw in the story.
Yeah, that's why it was so far-fetched, because there's no way there would have been enough food for this.
Good God, it ate. I read whales, but the whales aren't down there normally.
Right. Well, I read something about that particular shark, and they think that's why it went extinct, because
it ran out of food source.
Well, it ran out of food stuff. They had the ice age, and a lot of fish died, so it didn't have anything, and it was an apex predator, which is it's the top of the food chain.
Right.
But it didn't. Its food supply dwindled.
Well, and the whole change from the megalodon, it's not like sharks went away altogether. They just adapted. They evolved into smaller creatures. They're still apex predators of the ocean,
right.
But they're not the largest animal in the ocean, but they're definitely the fiercest. But they adapted. They adapted to survive.
Those whale sharks get pretty big. Are they really sharks though?
Well, then I'm no.
Because I was reading about whale. I just did a lot of general reading about sharks and stuff. They said the whale sharks don't even eat like
meat.
They eat
plankton.
They eat plankton, yeah.
Right.
So
which is a staple for whales.
Whales. So they're more like, are they really shark? I don't know. I have to look that up.
And let me tell you, on that subject of sharks, shark bites are becoming more and more prevalent here in South Carolina. Somebody got bit by one in Texas in the Gulf.
Yeah. Which
I did not realize that we had a shark issue in the Gulf of Mexico. But somebody got bit by a shark in somewhere around Galveston, that area.
Think that has something to do with the climate change or whatever.
Well,
things are getting warmer, so they're moving in.
I don't have enough knowledge about climate change. I know it's happening, but I don't know if that's. I guess they would, if fish are moving around, where they normally stayed into different locations because of the warmth of the water, then the sharks are going to follow.
Yeah. But what do you think about? Did it seem weird that Jason Statham was in this movie?
Yeah, it wasn't really his forte. I'm used to seeing him like fighting some crime boss, taking on the whole syndicate, one-man army,
right?
Just tearing through people, kicking ass and taking names. And
my thing
was not that character. Maybe he's trying to branch out,
Well, he didn't really branch out because when you the movie starts out there, he's a rescue diver, and they're rescuing a submarine, and he lets some men die to get away because I guess the megalodon attacks the sub, and they're in a little small sub that hooks up with the big sub, and he's gotten all these people into it, the little rescue sub, and his two of his partners are still in there, but the megalodon attacks, so he leaves.
Yeah, he said that in order to save those two, he'd have risked 11 people's lives.
Well, they would all have died if they hadn't just left. So then that ruins his career because no one believes that the sub was being attacked.
Right.
Then, of course, what happens, in these movies, they're exploring this new ocean depth, and they get attacked by the megalodon, and they're like, well, we need somebody to go down there and get them. They only have like 2 hours or something.
Yeah, because
who can we get? Oh, well, I know, of course,
I know this
he's
guy,
the only diver in the world that can do this.
And of course, he has his best friend is working in this group,
right?
Who is like cheering for him. But then there's the guy that's from what was that show on
The Office?
No. It's Robert Taylor. He was on a show on.
Heroes?
No, it wasn't Heroes. Let me see. I'll tell you what show it was. Sorry.
Are you talking about the
Longmire?
Okay.
Have you seen that?
No.
That's a pretty good show, man. You need to check it out. Okay. Go check out Longmire. It's a pretty good show. It's on Netflix. But he's playing the doctor, right? Who said that when Jason Statham,
that guy.
Jonas Taylor is his name. When his character came back the first time, where his two colleagues were left behind, and then the sub exploded. This character, the doctor, he said that
Heller.
His Heller was his name. He said that Jonas was suffering from some kind of mental defect from going down so low.
Well, yeah,
and that's why he left his friend to die.
Did you ever see The Abyss?
Yes.
Remember, what's that guy's name who played the Marine or whatever?
That was so long ago, man. I couldn't even begin.
But he was in Terminator. He's the guy that works with James Cameron. Michael Biehn.
Michael Bay. Oh yeah.
His character was suffering because there's some kind of psychosis you get from deep sea diving.
It's like carbon monoxide.
No, I don't know if it's carbon monoxide. It's something to do with all that pressure. Because when you go down, you got it's some kind of decompression sickness.
Yeah, like the bends.
Yeah, it'll drive you crazy. So that doctor thought that Jonas was suffering from that, and that's why he left those men to die. So he's battling against that. It's kind of funny though.
Yeah, and they were saying that he kept saying that there was something big that attacked that
right,
sub.
right.
And they were saying that he was delusional.
He was delusional.
And that's what made him separate from the sub and leave his two colleagues there.
So he's fighting against that perception. And they go to get him because he's the only guy that can dive that deep.
There were only 3 people that have ever done a rescue that deep.
Now
there's only 1 left.
You know what? I looked up that on Wikipedia. You know, this. They mentioned that in the movie. They get a lot of scientific facts right in history. There's a lot of things they do that. The movie wasn't as stupid as I thought it was going to be because they do bring up a lot of facts.
I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't call it a stupid.
movie.
I
just thought. It just. I went into this movie thinking it was going to be just like a Sharknado,
right,
or something like some.
I would have got up
like
and left if it was Sharknado.
I said Jason Statham's they're gonna figure out a way for him to roundhouse this shark. I just wouldn't.
He's gonna karate chop a megalodon.
I went into it having the lowest expectations.
I think I did too.
But I looked up some stuff. I looked up that whole fact about they saying only 3 people have been to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. I said that can't be right. You know, one of the people who've been to the bottom is one of the 3 is James Cameron.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding. He did it back. I think it was 2012, and the 2 before that. There was only 2 people that did it, and it was back in 1960. So he was the only guy since 1960 to have dived that deep. Because the other times they've been to the bottom, they sent drones.
Right, yeah. See, you ain't getting me that deep in the water.
Yeah.
No, sir.
I mean,
you can barely get me on top of the water.
Well, one of the things I thought was kind of ridiculous is when the people get stranded down there, and then the lady, what's her name, Su Yin, she goes in one of those little bubble submersibles.
Yeah, that was silly.
I thought that was silly. There's no way the pressure would have crushed that thing.
Yeah.
And then Jason Statham goes down there to save her, of course.
Saves everybody.
Well, he has to save her though, like 3 times, because she keeps doing stuff stupid. Oh, I'm gonna go save her myself, and then she gets in trouble, and he has to jump in.
Well, this whole movie was a series of just mistakes that people kept making. That,
right.
Well,
and they had a lot of the cliches that you see in a lot of these movies. You got the rich, evil white guy who wants to make money. I was trying to figure out how in the world were they going to make money off of finding this new little environment beneath the ocean. He kept talking about how, we're going to make so much money off of this. I'm like, how in the world were they going to make money off of that?
Well, they would have gotten all kinds of research grants.
Well, but research grant, but he made a point of that they had spent billions of dollars on this project. So how is it going to recoup? I mean, what are they going to do, tours or something?
There's probably countless things that we're not thinking about that they could do to promote it and to take advantage of selling the technology, or not the technology, but the research, selling the research of a megalodon, because they would hold.
Well, they didn't go down there expecting to find the megalodon.
No, but they would have made money just on the fact that they had discovered that whole new ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure how, but I'm sure I know in the world
I just thought that was. You got to have the crazy industrialist guy. I don't know if he was industrialist.
And then he thought he was going to go take the freaking thing out by himself. Well, him and his henchmen that, are all expendable.
Right. Yeah, at some point, the evil white guy who money guy is going to die.
It was funny, though, that his henchmen got away and they left him there to die.
Right.
That was kind of that was kind of a change in the normal, pattern of what happens to nameless henchmen in movies.
Right. I wish they would kind of retire that kind of cliche though. The evil white guy, money guy.
Who are you telling?
It's like it's like we just saw Jurassic World like what, a month ago. The same thing. They had the guy. Oh, we're gonna make so much money off of these dinosaurs. It's always that guy in these movies, and it's like there's no like variation on that cliche at all. It's like they're the same guy. If you could take this guy out of this movie and put him in any of these other Jurassic World.
Except this guy, the actor who played this guy, is really hold on, I'll tell you his
name. Was on. That's why I thought you were talking about The Office earlier.
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, he's from The Office.
He's funny. That guy is funny. I mean, he really is. And he didn't get to stretch his comedy chops in this. I mean, there were some funny parts in there, but
yeah, most of it was kind of corny though.
Yeah, his whole character was a cornball, man. His whole character.
But even some of the comedy they had with Jason Statham was kind of, it was a little bit corny.
Well,
But you know what? I liked the movie.
I did too.
I didn't go in thinking I was going to like it.
My daughter, it gave her like issues because she feels about sharks the way that some people feel about spiders or snakes. Okay. Sharks are just bringing that creepy factor to her to where she's like, I don't want to go home and go to sleep after watching this because I know what I'm going to dream about tonight.
I remember I saw Jaws as a kid, and I didn't want to take a bath or a shower after.
Right.
That movie scared me so bad.
But how old were you?
I don't remember how old I was. I had to be like maybe 8 or something.
You were young
because I didn't see it in the theater.
I didn't either.
We saw it at home. I saw it on television.
VHS, baby.
Yeah, I think it was on television, just like on a network.
If you don't know what VHS is, look it up.
Hey, you're dating us a little bit when you mention that. Well, some of these kids, these millennial kids.
I'm not old. I'm seasoned.
Some of these millennial kids have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, you gotta go back to appreciate what you have today. You gotta go back and see what we grew up with.
I mean, they don't even know what DVDs are. I would get.
I know it's getting to that point. I know it's getting to that point. And now everything streams.
The concept of rewinding a tape. Oh my God, no.
Man, I've enjoyed growing up to a point to see technology advance to how it has. I see the possibility of things going awry because of how fast technology is advancing, but we'll be gone. So.
Yeah. We're already seeing it with people spending way too much time on social networks.
Yeah, tune in. Keep tuning into our channel. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie.
What grade would you give it, though?
I'm gonna give it a strong 4.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna give it a 5 because I'm
gonna
reserve our 5s for like epic.
Yeah,
blockbuster movies. Maybe not even blockbuster movies. Just
the action was pretty good, but nothing groundbreaking.
Nobody wrote a new story here.
I mean, it's nothing you haven't seen in all these other shark movies.
Any kind of deep sea terror movie, this had every aspect of that.
I mean, there's only so much you can do with this.
The boat gets flipped over,
right?
And, the swimmers on the beach, and here comes the big bad shark. And
it's funny, they had another cliche.
There's the little bubble boat the
bubble boat
that went down to 11,000 meters and didn't crush.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But I also had a cliche black guy who can't swim, but he's working on this.
Now he was the true comic relief of it, but they made him look so bad, man. He was just like, what did I get myself into?
Right.
Type character.
See, they always have that character.
Right. Character.
See, they always have that character who's like a proxy for the audience, because the audience is always wondering why do they keep going back to, because they kept going, hey, we gotta do something about this shark. Why don't you just leave it up to the army? And that's
why do we got to do something about this?
Why do we have to, particularly this small group of like 8 people? Why do they have to?
That are all scientists, and one guy that's dived really deep. And they're going to go kill a 90-meter
Why do they have to kill
shark?
the shark? Why can't they just leave and go to the mainland and let the military deal with it?
The
guy, the black guy's the guy who's the audience by proxy. He keeps saying, even though he never leaves, he's always saying, why are we doing this? Why I can't be out here. I can't swim. And like, even when he goes overboard with the life jacket on, he's like panicking and is like,
and they're like, how did you become part of a ocean research group and you can't swim?
And he's like,
I sit at a computer.
Right, but he's like the pilot, the remote pilot guy.
Well, he's good at video games, I guess.
But
you know how you save yourself from a megalodon? Walk 3 feet from the shore and you're good.
Right. Exactly.
You get 10 feet back and you can just put your chair down and be like, just look at the shark and go, okay.
And what was this little girl doing on the research vessel?
Man.
You gotta have. Look, they marked up all the cliches. You gotta have the loner guy who lives, like, when they find Jason Statham, he's living on like a
Taiwan. Wasn't it Taiwan?
No, it was Thailand.
Thailand.
He's living in Thailand, and he's pretty much living out of a bar, and maybe going to a little loft above the bar.
And he's renting a boat or something.
Yeah, he's doing something. He's
renting out his boat because
right.
Yeah, and he's drinking too much.
Yeah, Eric. He's got a beer in his hand, and
And of course they come and ask him, "Oh, we need your help," and he's like, "There's no way I'm going to help. I'll never get
no
another."
Way. You're going to offer me a lot of money. I'm going to say no. You're going to offer me a story, and I'm going to say no. And then they like, well, one of your friends are trapped.
Your ex-wife's down there,
and he's like, okay.
Yeah. And the next scene, he's getting off the elevator.
Right. It's like, wow, that was quick. That didn't take much convincing.
Yeah,
so they have the off the rails loner, break all the rules guy. They got the black guy, comic relief. They got the little cute girl, adorable little girl. They got the female hot chick scientist.
Yeah, and I think that all these, because we had discussed this earlier.
They got the rich white guy.
But what kind of irresponsible parent is going to take their 8-year-old baby
exactly
down into the ocean where any number of things could go wrong? And I mean, because
nobody else had their kids down there. I'm sure these other people
and they didn't even own it. They were just working for the guy.
Right.
I guess the dad was like in charge of the project. Like her dad,
yeah.
Bing Bing's dad. And I think her name is Mi Lee, the little girl's name. Her real name is...
No, Suya Sophia Cha.
Oh, okay. Well, I was way off on that one.
Something like that.
But anyway, they were kind of like in charge of the thing. Mm-hmm. But she brought her little 8-year-old daughter to the ocean. And I guess she was living there, right? The little girl was? So that was weird. Yeah. And I even leaned over to my daughter and said, who would let their 8-year-old kid get on something like that?
Well,
especially in our day and age, man.
They had to cover it's a PG-13 movie, so they had to cover all the demographics.
And they had to put that little cute girl on screen because she's just too cute to not be on screen.
But they didn't, you know what? They didn't have some annoying teenager character.
Yeah, that's got the world on their shoulders.
Yeah, sulking in the corner, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, I want to mention Cliff Curtis was in this.
That was
he's always in movies like this. He's always in these science fiction movies.
He's probably made $1 million as being a second string actor.
Yeah, he's always he's always doing the character actor thing, and what was his purpose? Like he was he a scientist? Was he I forget what he was.
Well, I think he was
His specialty.
His specialty was like the equipment, like taking care of the equipment, the submarines, and making sure everything ran well, like the mechanical part of it. But I'm not 100% sure. I know that him and Jason Statham's character were best friends.
Yeah.
They were really close. There he is right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not sure what his job was.
And this...
Oh, yeah, we can't go without...
Ruby Rose.
Ruby Rose, one of the hottest lesbians in the world. Without question.
I didn't know much about her. The only thing I had seen her in was John Wick 2, where she had no speaking lines because she's supposed to be playing this mute. And I thought they did that because...
you know where she got famous from, right?
No.
Orange is the New Black. That show on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
She's one of the main characters on that show.
Oh. Well... she's gonna be the new Batwoman.
She's badass, man. I like her.
But she's gonna be on the CW. They're gonna have a Batgirl or Batwoman show or something. But I heard all these people complaining about the choice because they said she can't act. She was pretty good in this, I thought.
I mean,
but I thought,
what are you putting her up against? Like, Meg Ryan or
But I mean, I wasn't taken out of the movie by her acting. But the reason I mentioned John Wick is I thought they didn't give her any lines because it's easier to act when you don't actually have lines. Because have you ever acted in anything? It's very
minimally.
I mean, but remembering lines is like the worst part. But if you don't have any lines, like I think that's kind of why Kevin Smith, whenever he acts in his movies, he's Silent Bob. Because the whole purpose is he doesn't have any lines, so
he can't screw him up.
Yeah, he can't. He don't have anything to remember. You just.
Hey, I heard this actor say it was on like the Actors Guild studio or something, and he said the two hardest things to work with are animals and children because they don't remember their lines.
Yeah.
And Macaulay Culkin was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they were talking about his success. Of course, anybody that gets Macaulay Culkin on camera is going to ask him about Home Alone, But that kid made so much money off of that. He's still living on it, and he's a millionaire still from Home Alone.
Yeah.
And he's turning down gigs, multi-million-dollar gigs, because he's got plenty of money and doing what he wants.
Is he turning down gigs?
Yes, that's what they tried to get him to go on The Big Bang Theory, and he turned them down.
He looks like a meth addict now.
No, he looks good now. I think he went a little off the rails there, but he looks healthy. He's got himself together.
I know for a while he looked like an old man.
Yeah, I think he was experimenting and a little off the rails, but he's 38 years old, man. Macaulay Culkin is 38 years old.
That's crazy.
And he, but what he was saying was the reason that he did so well in Hollywood at that age was that he had a photographic memory for lines.
Oh.
And I mean, this is just in reference to what you were saying about, Ruby Rose not having lines because they didn't want her to screw them up or whatever.
No.
Directors don't want to have to work with people that can't remember their lines.
I mean, no. I mean, why would you?
But
I think
I'm glad I don't have to remember lines.
Would you recommend seeing this in the theater?
Sure. Go to the matinee.
I think they moved the date for the release. They got skittish after that movie The Wall with Matt Damon.
Matt Damon's,
and Warner Bros. moved it. They moved it to August because I think they didn't have any competition. All the
there was definitely no competition for this movie this weekend.
I mean there was nothing else playing except for Black Klansman.
Yeah, and that one wasn't even playing at my theater.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a lot of showings. I don't know, in my local theater, they didn't have a lot of showings for this, but it made $40 million out the gate.
Really?
So, yeah.
Black Klansman did?
No, the Meg
The
did.
Meg did. Yeah.
So
the
it's
theater,
doing well. I mean, Jason Statham can open a movie. He's going to get.
Well, they finally got him in one of the Fast and Furious films, right? And I think he was in a movie too. Wasn't he in what is Sylvester Stallone's series of movies where they're all
The Expendables?
The Expendables. He was on that. That was kind of his first step to the next level of, popularity. And then he got that Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah. Well, he had those Transporter movies. I don't know how much they made, but
this they did all right.
Yeah, this is going to cement his superstar
That's what I'm
status.
saying is I think that's why he did this movie.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to take the next level as being a blockbuster leading man, know. So, who knows? We might see him in a love story next. But I guarantee his shirt will come off and he'll kick the shit out of somebody.
Yeah. I recommend it. There's nothing else to see in the theaters except, like I said, Black Klansman.
Yeah,
Christopher Robin or whatever. That's kid.
I didn't feel like I wasted my money on it. I mean,
I was pleasantly surprised.
But
it could have been a lot cheesier.
I'm easily entertained though. Let's be honest here. Some of you guys are going to go see it and be like, that sucked and all. In my opinion, I'm easily entertained, and I enjoyed it, and I didn't feel like I wasted my money. But you make up your own mind.
Yeah, I wasn't bored, so that's my main thing. If I'm bored,
get up and walk out.
Yeah, but
which I haven't done.
It wasn't. I didn't have too many eye rolling moments. Just like I said, some of the dialogue was a little bit corny, but overall, I liked it. But I think that's about it.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We appreciate you sticking it out. And if you're still here now, then you're a true fan of the show, and we appreciate
and do us a favor, just subscribe.
Yeah, just hit that subscribe button. Comment down what you'd like to see us do next. I mean, if you want us to discuss a certain game or a book, or just give us some ideas. Even current events. I mean, tell us what you want us to discuss on camera, and we will take it to heart and. We will see you guys on the next episode.
See you later.